Hello students, in the structural organization in animal, we are coming to the last organism, that is frog. Lots of the people are asking about that this frog, it is not in the syllabus, so that's why we are not going to study it. Actually it's not like that, though it is not given in the syllabus of the NEET, but then also you have to study it because this frog then belongs to the class amphibia, which is given in your animal kingdom. So question will come from the animal kingdom, maybe from this frog, and this important all those characters that will be described here in this structural organization chapter. So let's just see in detail. We're not going to skip anything, so let's just discuss the morphology and anatomy of frog. So first of all, this morphology of the frog, introduction, just see this frog belongs to which kingdom, that is the animal kingdom, the phylum, that is Chordata. Now after that it is coming to the class, that class is amphibia. Amphibia, the word means it is amphibious in nature, that means it can live in both water and in the land. Now the next thing, that in case of this organism, it has one order, that order is Anura. That means in this group of order, the organism have only two body parts, that is the body is divisible into only head and the trunk. They don't have the tail. Right, so they have the limbs but they don't have the tail. The body is divisible into head and the trunk, and in the trunk region they have two pairs of legs, forelegs and the hind legs. So just see first of all that the frog, some introduction, then after that we will move to the morphology. So first of all come to the locomotion, that means how they will move, right? So this organism basically in the adult stage they move by the legs, right? So they have basically one very they can jump, okay, and in one jumping they travel a distance of 1.5 to 2 meters, okay. So they can move, they locomote by jumping or leaping, okay. So with the help of the legs they will jump, and in one jump they can travel around 1.5 to 2 meters at once. Now this organism in the water, if the frog is under the water, then it also can swim. So how can they swim? With the help of the hind legs, because in the hind legs the digits are actually webbed. That means each of the webs, suppose each of the legs they are going to have some webs, like in the duck you can see. So similarly in case of them also, so that it can swim, so that's why this organism will have the webbed digits in the hind leg, okay. Now the next one, that if it comes to the feeding, okay, so what type of food they take, right? Is it somehow, have you seen this organism they're taking the grass? Never, okay. Always remember that this frog, that is always carnivorous, okay. So it is carnivorous, basically it takes the flies, mosquitoes, small animals basically the invertebrates. Yes, this organism, how they catch the prey? With the help of their prehensile tongue. So this tongue is actually protruding towards the front. Whenever they see a fly or a mosquito, they take they actually catch it, trap it with the help of the sticky mouth. In the sticky mouth, the fly get trapped and they can take the that prey, okay. So that they are carnivorous. And one thing remember, that the carnivorous, if you compare the intestine as compared to the herbivores, the carnivores will have shorter intestine because they don't have to digest the carbohydrates. So in case of this carnivorous animal, that is in the frog, they have comparatively shorter intestine. So remember that. So this organism feeding habit is carnivorous. They take the animal originated tissue. Next one, see a very interesting character, that is croaking. So what is croaking actually? That in the breeding season, basically in the rainy season, all of us we heard it that the cockroach produce a specific sound, right? So what is that sound? That sound produced by the frog, that is called as croaking, that is present basically in case of the males, right? In the males they have the vocal sac here in this region, in the buccopharyngeal region. They have the voice, actually one voice sac, okay, vocal sac we can say, and with the help of the vocal sac they can produce the sound that is called as croaking. Now why they will produce the sound isn't so actually during the breeding season to call the female, so that that frog they have external fertilization. So whenever the male they go to the water to release the male gamete, they call the female so that they can trap the male gametes. So that's why as a ethological behavior or sexual behavior they produce the sound. Okay, that is called as croaking. Now next very important thing, that is hibernation and estivation. Remember that this frog, they belong to the class Amphibia. So amphibians, they are poikilothermic or cold-blooded animal. That means they cannot maintain the constant body temperature. According to the fluctuation of the environment, atmosphere, they also change their body temperature. So if it is in the extreme summers or in the extreme winters, they cannot survive. Okay, so that's why they get underground in the soft soil, and they get actually buried for about 2 to 3 months if it is in the extreme summers or in the extreme winters. So during the extreme winters, that's winter sleep, that is known as hibernation, and the summer sleep, that is known as estivation. Actually, so that they can survive, because they are poikilothermic, so how they will survive? They will undergo summer sleep and winter sleep, and whenever the temperature is suppose favorable for that animal, then once again they come back, and whenever for the 2-3 months they are hibernating or estivating, and in that period of time actually they minimize their body functioning, they store the fat bodies, and from the fat bodies small amount of energy is liberated so that they can survive. They also respirate with the help of their skin, so that for normal pulmonary respiration they take more energy. So that's why they shut down their lungs, and for that time period whenever they're hibernating or estivating, they are having the simple diffusion with the help of the skin. They next one, that is another characteristic, that is mimicry. See, in the skin of the frog they have some specialized cells. So those cells can change the color whenever, suppose on the surrounding, whatever the color it is, green or brown, or suppose in the dried leaf, whatever the color in the surrounding the frog have, they can take the color of the surrounding. And why they take this color? So that they can prevent themselves from the eyes of the predators. Okay, so that they can protect themselves. They actually hide, they completely get blend with the atmosphere in the surrounding. So that's why they possess this phenomenon, that is mimicry. They can change the skin color due to the presence of some chromotrophic cells. Next one, sexual dimorphism. That means already we know that the amphibians, they are dioecious animal, male organisms and female organisms, they are different. And sexually dimorphism means they are visibly also distinguished. That means we can able to find whether that is the male or a female. Females are broader, they have a larger trunk, and the males, they have smaller structure. Okay, so that is about the introduction. Now after that, let's just move to the morphology. Okay, so whenever you see the morphology, the body is divided into 2 parts. What is that? The body is divided into the head and the trunk. Okay, so you can see they have the head, okay, and this part is the trunk, right? So they don't have any neck-like structure. Neck-like divisions we cannot see. The head and the trunk is the only parts. in the body structure. Next, you can see the head. Head is a roughly triangular structure. Okay, so they are going to have one transverse mouth. Okay, just above that they are going to have a pair of nostril, with the help of what they can breathe. Okay, next after that they have the eyes. Right, so these eyes are a little bit swollen or puffy eyes. Okay, and in the eyes they're going to have three eyelids: upper eyelid, lower eyelid, and a nictitating membrane. So this is suppose the eye, this is the upper eyelid, this is the lower eyelid, and towards the corner this is the nictitating membrane. Now what is the nictitating membrane and what is the importance of it? See, in case of us also we have the nictitating membrane on the corners. Okay, that nictitating membrane don't have any function. This is actually one horizontal flap. This organism is living under the water also, so that they can see underwater. So that's why this nictitating membrane, this horizontal flap, help them to see underwater. So this upper eyelid, which is immovable, this is darkly pigmented upper eyelid. Lower eyelid, this is somewhat movable, freely movable and transparent eyelid. This is the lower eyelid. In case of us, our upper eyelid is movable, not the lower eyelid, right? In case of the frog, the upper eyelid is immovable, but the lower eyelid, this is movable. Okay, so this is the eye. Simple eye they have. Next one, you can see another structure. This is going to be important. See, they are going to have the actually one flap-like structure. That flap represents the ear, and this is known as the tympanum. Okay, so what is the tympanum? This tympanum is actually the middle ear. Our ear is divided into three parts, that is external ear, middle ear, and internal ear. In case of them, their external ear, that is the pinna, this is our pinna, this is not present in case of the frog. Their ear is started from the tympanum itself, or the tympanic membrane. In case of the frog, this is called this tympanum, which is now able to take the vibrations. They have only one single ear ossicle, that is known as columella oris. Okay, so we will come to that. This is just the introduction point, so that's why we are not coming in detail. If it comes to the mouth is going to have the, suppose this is the mouth, right? Now in the mouth, what they're going to have, this mouth is going to have a posteriorly opened tongue, and this tongue is getting rolled down, and whenever they have to catch a fly, suppose that fly, they will unroll and take this fly into their mouth. Okay, so that is the tongue, which is posteriorly open but anteriorly it is attached. Next one, if it comes to the teeth, all of the teeth, they are similar. Okay, so this is going to be homodont type of teeth. Okay, next one, second thing, that these are acrodont. That means the teeth are superficially attached to the socket. They are not dipped inside the socket. They are superficially attached to the jaws, not to the socket. This is acrodont, and every time it falls and it grows also. So that's why this type of teeth is known as polyphyodont type of teeth. That means in case of us, we have two sets of teeth. In case of the frogs, they have numbers of sets of teeth. Whenever they fall the teeth, once again they can grow it. So this thing already it is taught in the digestive system, digestion and absorption. So just remember, now also you can remember that homodont type of teeth means all of the teeth, they are similar. Like in case of us, we have incisors, canine, premolars and molars. In case of them, the teeth, all of them, they are similar. Next one, acrodont, the teeth which are superficially just attached to the jaws by just some fibrous tissue. They are not attached deep down embedded in the socket. It's not like that. So this is the acrodont type of teeth, which is just superficially attached to the jaws. Next one, polyphyodont. That means they have numbers of sets of the teeth. Okay, so that is about the head region. They have the mouth, they have the nostrils for breathing, to take the gas inside their body. Then after that they have the tympanum, which represents their ear. That is about their head region. After that, let us move to the next part, that is the trunk. So this trunk is broader in case of female and narrower in case of the males. This trunk region, which have all the essential visceral organs, all type of systems like digestion, respiration, circulation, excretion, nervous regulation, that will be present throughout the body, but most of the visceral organs, they are present in the trunk. This trunk will have a pair of legs. Okay, so these are the forelegs and these are the hind legs. Okay, now if you see the forelegs have only 4 digits. They don't have the thumb on the forelegs. In the hind leg, they have the 5 digits. So remember that the forelegs, they have the 4 digits, and the hind leg, they have the 5 digits. During the breeding season, the first index finger of the foreleg, they develop one type of swelling. That swelling develop, that is known as the copulatory pad. Okay, in case of the males, they develop the copulatory pad. Okay, so that they can hold the female, and they can have the pseudomating. Then after that, if you see the trunk region towards this posterior most region, they have one common opening, that is known as the cloaca. Now, what is the meaning of the cloaca? See, this cloaca, which is releasing the urine also, next gamete also, and the female, the urine also, gamete also, and the fecus also, fecal matter also. Okay, so they don't have separate urinogenital apparatus and they don't have a separate anal apparatus. So the same opening which is releasing urine, then gamete and the fecal matter or the excreta, that common opening, that is known as the cloaca. So that is about the morphology, just the introduction. So that is all about the first part of the first morphology part, that if you see the trunk region, they have the 4 limbs. These 4 limbs, they are less muscular. They have the wrist, they have the arms, but 4 digits are there. But if you see the hind legs, they have 5 digits. So these 5 digits, they are webbed also, so that they can swim, right? So these hind legs, they are more muscular. This organism can properly jump also with the help of this hind leg. Okay, these 4 limbs, they are not that muscular as compared to the hind leg or the hind legs. So yeah, that is all about the introduction of the frogs. I hope you understand the introduction point. From the next video, we will see all of the anatomical features. So that's all about the introduction. I hope you understand that. That's all about the introduction of the frog. Thank you.